It's down to heads up in the stand-up game when we're dealt ace-king offsuit in the small blind. The under-the-gun straddler is the only person left who hasn't won a hand besides us. Matt raises at 800. This couldn't be set up better. We actually have an extremely strong starting hand, and it looks like we're in desperation mode trying to force it as I 3-bet to 4,000. The under-the-gun straddler has the fewest chips at the table with exactly 5,000 in his stack. If he folds and Berkey folds behind him, he has to pay out $300 to 8 players for a total of $2,400. He's pretty much forced to rip it with any 2 cards in order to refrain from that happening. He jams. Matt has 16,800 total and no reason to believe that we're nearly as strong as we happen to be. He knows that the under-the-gun straddler could have ripped it with virtually any 2 cards. Matt re-raises all in for 16,800. I'm in total shock at the situation that's taking place. I snap call. We're in a 3-way all-in with nearly 40,000 in the middle. Matt proposes that we run it twice. Everyone agrees. The under-the-gun straddler has already taken out rebuy chips, which is a sign that he likely has something awful and is expecting to lose. I want to flip over the cards for video purposes and so everyone knows what they need in order to win. I show our cards first. Matt reveals that he has the ace of clubs and the 10 of spades. We've got him dominated, but the other opponent doesn't want to let us know what he got it in with. The flop comes 9-6-3 with 2 clubs. We don't improve, and the table mate on our left thinks Matt's going to hit the backdoor flush or pairs 10.
This is Berkey for sure.
The turn is the 6 of diamonds. It's a blank. The river is the jack of diamonds. I'm not sure if our ace-king is good enough to beat both opponents, but we minimally beat Berkey on the first board in a $23,000 side pot. He's the more important player for us to scoop against. The second flop is 7-7 deuce rainbow. We've still got a commanding lead against ace 10. The turn is the ace of hearts, putting us in great shape to scoop against Matt as long as no 10, 7, or ace comes out. The river's the 6 of clubs. We win the much larger side pot against Berkey. The straddler finally shows that he wins the first run out with king 9 offsuit. I chop against him. Matt gets stacked. Initially, the straddler only takes back his money, and Matt's whole stack is given to me, but that's not correct. We realize that Under the Gun is supposed to win some money from Matt for the first run out. Under the Gun also wins the stand-up game, so I'm forced to pay $300 to each player at the table, yet I still profited about $10,000 from the game being on, even though I technically lost. About 5 hours into the session, we look down at ace-king offsuit. We have a rare stand-up game going. The one recreational player at the table doesn't like playing it, and he doesn't like it when straddles are on, so 95% of the time, we cater to him and don't play with either of those things. He happens to be okay with it at the moment. I'm one of the last players standing up. I need to win a pot soon, otherwise I'll have to pay each player at the table $200. We're under the gun +2. I kick things off with a raise to 200. It's a little more than my normal raise size to disincentivize players from calling. Everyone at the table recognizes that I need to win a pot in the next few hands, and I'll be playing a slightly wider range than normal, but this time, I happen to be enjoying the view from the top of it. Matt Berkey has returned from a break. He's already won his seat back at the table, but he gets aggressive with a 3-bet to 600. That clears everyone else out of the way. What's fun about the stand-up game is when we pick up a real hand like in this instance, no one believes us when we're pumping in big bets, fighting for pots. It makes it a lot easier to get paid. Another factor that could lead us to get paid more is Matt being down a buy-in or 2. He could be more willing to give me action light. I go with a massive 4-bet jam for 21,000 effective. If we win the pot right now without seeing a flop and without making a pair, that's okay. If not, we'll be probably flipping or we'll have Berkey in bad shape. Matt isn't in the mood to give up.
I'm stuck. Let's get it.
Right. It's up to you, Matt.
Oh, we're going.
What am I doing?
Let's run it twice. We're in over a $40,000 pot. Our assessment of the situation was correct. Matt called over a 400 big blind shove with only ace-8 suited. It's about the best scenario possible for us. We have him totally dominated. This is up there for the biggest pot that I've ever played at Bellagio and the largest one that I've had 100% of myself for. When taking shots at higher stakes, it's good to try to limit the variance a little so that if something unlucky happens, I'll still be able to continue playing in this game when opportunities come up with no sweat. That's why I'm happy to run it twice. The first flop is king 10-3 rainbow. We've got top pair and have a commanding lead to lock up half the pot. The turn is the 5 of clubs. Matt's officially dead on this board. Running it once would have been fine after all. The river is the jack of hearts. I wish the river would have been an 8. Now it's time for the second board. we can breathe much easier knowing that we're free rolling. The flop comes Jack 9 deuce rainbow. That's still a great one for us. We only have to worry about the opponent hitting 1 of 3/8 or hitting a backdoor draw. If Berkey isn't able to, we'll have about 30,000 in profit for the day. The turn is the 9 of spades, giving the opponent a flush draw, adding to the tension. We just need to stay ahead for one more street in order to scoop the entire pot, which has close to the same amount of money in it as my entire salary during my first year as an accountant. The river's devastating.
Oh my god, you're saying it's getting
The 8 on the second river is as painful as it gets. We were ahead through 9 cards, but on the 10th card, we lose the lead and end up chopping the pot. That's the second time today that we've missed out on winning a gigantic amount of money due to running it twice. If you go back and watch the previous session of me playing this game from a few weeks ago, I lost another huge pot on the second run out in that episode. Altogether, I've run it twice in 4 big all-ins. In 3 of them, I've lost on the second run out, and the other one, I won on both run outs. In that sense, running it twice has cost me about $60,000 over the last few weeks. That's not really how you're supposed to look at it though. It could have easily saved me $60,000 if the runouts happened to be reversed. But let's be honest, they weren't reversed, so it's a little impossible to not be annoyed. The only good thing here is that the first runout is what counts for the stand-up game. Since I won that, I've earned my seat back and I'm not on the hook to pay each player at the table $200 anymore. That second river was brutal though. Next, we're dealt 5-4 suited in middle position with the stand-up game on. We need to win a hand in order to avoid paying out $300 to each player at the table. I raised to $500. It's a larger sizing to dissuade more opponents from coming in. Maybe we can win this pre-flop to avoid paying out the $2,400 stand-up game tax. Matt Berkey's in the big blind. He's not going to let us win that easily. He 3-bets at $2,000. Matt has an incentive to be doing this light, but I kind of hope that he has a big hand so we can smash a hidden 2-pair or better hand and win a big pot. I call for $1,500 more. We're heads up in position. The flop comes Queen 3 deuce with 2 spades. We've got an open-ender. Matt's contemplating his options. Ideally, he'll check, or at least not bet too large. I'd like to see at least one more community card. Matt bets $3,000. We're certainly not getting away from our hand at this junction. Matt may not even have a pair. In fact, I'm hoping that he has something like ace-king and he can pair his ace while we make the wheel. I call. The pot's getting very large now. The turn is the 4 of hearts, which gives us second pair to go with our draw. It might be just enough to get us into trouble as Matt bets $6,000. This isn't a board that'll generally be all that great for Matt after he 3-bets from the big blind, but I'm definitely concerned that he could have ace-5 suited, although we have removal to that. He could also have ace-queen, a set of queens, or an overpair, but he might only have ace-high or a flush draw, or maybe complete air. Matt is very capable of making big moves. I'm not inclined to fold, and we've got a decent amount going for us, including a pair that might currently be best. Matt only has $16,000 total. Let's put the pressure back on him and see if he really wants to play for all of it.
What's their name?
We jam for $16,000 with intentions of winning the pot without seeing a river. Matt has other ideas. He calls, and we could be in deep trouble.
Sure.
That's probably you. Matt shows ace-jack of spades. The first river is the 5 of spades. We hit 2 pair, but Matt hit a flush and a straight. The second river is the 10 of clubs. Matt ends up with ace-high there. We chop it up. We got it in as a 68% favorite in a pot over $40,000, but we end up splitting it. The first run out is the one that determines who wins the hand for the stand-up game. Matt won that one and is no longer on the hook for potentially having to pay everyone out while we still need to win. We pick up pocket 3s in the big blind late in the session. A few people have left. The straddle's on. Berkey's in the hijack and raises to $500. I call. The straddler calls. We're going 3 ways to the flop. The dealer puts out 7-4 deuce with 2 spades. I'm not in a good mindset. I should be checking and folding to a bet, but a flop containing all low cards crushes my pre-flop calling range. I'm going to have a lot of small pocket pairs like the one that we've got. I rep a set and bet 900 to try and take it down. This isn't a play that we should do with 3s, especially not without a spade. The under the gun player calls. Berkey isn't going anywhere either. He calls. Perhaps under the gun has top pair or a spade draw. Maybe Berkey has an overpair or spade draw as well. I'm done with the hand. I took my stab and it didn't work out. No need to compound mistakes. Except Sometimes the poker gods have a funny way of bailing us out when things seem like they're as bad as they can be. The turn is the 3 of diamonds. We drill the absolute perfect card to give us the sneakiest set possible. Sure, it's a little scary because ace-5 and 6-5 get there, but it's less likely that our opponents called our flop bet with a straight draw when a flush draw is present. I'm going large to deny equity. I bet 4,000. Under the gun immediately folds. Matt has to be thinking that we might be at the end of our rope, and maybe I'm just making a big bet as a semi-bluff with an ace-x of spades type of hand that might be accompanied by a pair or gutter ball. Matt calls. He once called a large shove of mine with pocket tens on a queen-jack 7 flop, and he was actually right, but we sucked out on 2 runouts with 7 deuce to scoop a ridiculously big pot. Matt has already gotten it in against us light in 2 all-in spots today. There's a very good chance that he'll be calling us light with a draw or overpair right now, and he'll potentially call a shove if we get a blank on the river. The problem is, it's been tough for us to get blank runouts when we've had sets today. The dealer puts out the 8 of hearts, which is a complete blank. The only new hand that beats us is pocket 8s. We've essentially got the nuts. I already discounted Matt calling our flop bet with a straight draw, and he almost certainly would have raised our turn bet with a straight when there's a flush draw out there, unless he has specifically 6-5 of spades or ace-5 of spades. There's over 12,000 in the middle. We've got exactly 16,000 in front of us. Matt has us covered. We've got the perfect candidate to overbet rip against due to his propensity to call us light and not shy away from action. I jam. Matt's mind was already made up. He snap calls. I show him the set. Matt shows 6-5 of hearts for the nuts.
All right. Nice hand.
What I thought was the best card in the deck ends up being the absolute worst one. The misplay flop lead ends up costing me over $20,000 on a day when I was already getting pummeled. Slow playing monsters causes me to lose 5 figures, while it pays off huge from that when he employs the same strategy. Sometimes the poker gods have a way of making things even worse when you thought they were already as bad as they could possibly be. I had some rough days selling doors door to door, but at least I never had any that resulted in me losing $8,000 an hour. After being up close to $20,000, I lose with set after set after set, and ultimately end the day losing $40,000 before calling it.
That is a painful one.
We add on for 10,000 more. We're in for 50,000 total when we pick up 7 deuce once more. We started out so well with this hand, but lately I've been getting obliterated with it. Still, we have to try to get the bonus 300 from everyone. I raised the 300 from the cutoff. We only have to get through a few opponents to win a couple thousand. Right away we get resistance. The button calls. The small blind calls. Berkey smells blood in the water. He 3-bets at 2,000 from the big blind. It's been less than 15 minutes since his bluff shove got through, and he's returned to the ring to finish me off. I know Berkey's capable of 3-bet squeezing light. This situation was teed up for him to make a play. I'm not in the mood to fold. I 4-bet to 6,500. We're definitely forcing it at the moment. Credibility is near an all-time low. I've been a punching bag for the table. Everyone senses that I'm unraveling, so as soon as I put the chips out, I realize this isn't likely to get through. The button and small blind fold because they don't want to get caught in between me and Berkey. I wouldn't be surprised to see a light 5-bet shove. Instead, Berkey calls, which is almost just as scary. I only have 15,400 left. We've got just over a pot-sized bet remaining in our stack. I wouldn't put it past Berkey to flat our 4-bet with aces, but he can also have hands like ace-king, and some other pocket pairs like queens through 8s potentially. We're taking the worst hand possible to the flop with 5 figures in the middle already. I'm just hoping that we can hit a pair of some sort. If we do, we're going with it. If we get stacked, Matt will end our misery and will walk away from the table losing $50,000 exactly. The flop comes Queen Jack 7 rainbow. We hit that piece that we were looking for, but it's an awful flop aside from us slightly improving. Berkey could have easily just flopped a set. He checks. We really have to hope that he has a hand like ace-king that we're ahead of, or something like pocket 10s or 9s. I get a count of my chips to make sure that we don't happen to have significantly more than I thought. I say a little prayer to the poker gods that we're up against a high card hand, or at maximum, one pair like ace-queen, or even aces that we'll have a chunk of equity against. I close my eyes and let it fly.
On.
We don't get snap called this time. We're clearly not up against a set. No quick call gives us some partial relief that we at least didn't get flopped dead. We're for sure up against a 1-pair hand or ace-king. The issue when we shove on the flop is that we'll never be doing it with a set. We'd probably bet smaller, and Berkey knows that. We might not even rip flop with aces, but we likely would with ace, queen, and kings. Berkey's sharp. He knows that we're at the end of our rope and could be forcing it with ace, king, or 7 deuce, which might induce a light call. Berkey also probably doesn't feel great about what happened earlier when his mistake influenced the action. He could be thinking if he calls, we'll have a good chance to get our money back to square things up.
Alright, I'll make up for it.
No, Berkey, I thank you. I appreciate the sentiment, but you really don't have to do that. Just let go of whatever you've got. Oh, shit. Berkey calls our overbet shove for $15,400. We turn over the 7 deuce, and I'm expecting to see ace king or ace queen suited, but Berkey turns over pocket tens. He has third pair. I'm already down piles of money. There's a good chance that I lose this one, and I'm sent home losing $50,000. It'd be the 4th biggest loss that I've ever had. I'd like to give myself at least a shot at splitting this and getting our money back so we can continue playing the session.
Alright, let's go twice.
We're in about a $45,000 all-in pot. We've only got an 18% chance of winning the first run out. The dealer gives us some help.
Once is good. Why do we ever go twice?
We drill the deuce of spades for 2 pair that holds on the first run out. We'll be minimally getting our money back, which is all I wanted. I'm happy that we don't have to sweat going bust, but I get punished for running it 2 times. We're likely only going to win half the pot rather than all of it. The second turn is the 6 of diamonds. We've got 4 total outs to scoop. It's not probable, but it isn't impossible that we drill something. We smash the deuce on the second river as well. Not only do we scoop the entire pot, we win an extra $300 from each player at the table. We go from feeling as dejected as possible to winning nearly $50,000. It felt like we were in an insurmountable hole, losing big pots in every way imaginable. Now we've got an extra life.
You deserve. After you lost this one.
I'm in disbelief. I've never won a pot anywhere near this large in this fashion, drilling one of our few remaining outs on both runouts. I have to be honest, the way I prefer to win is never by getting it in with the worst hand and sucking out. I actually feel a little bad for Berkey that he correctly made a difficult call and then lost a $50,000 pot, but at the same time, there's a little justice after everything that took place when I had the 10s against him. It's fitting that he loses with 10s against us in a bizarre way.